When the revolution started, I was one of the people that I didn't think twice about it. I gave my priority to field hospitals because I always thought there is people protesting, but this is more important. I started collecting money and buying many medicine supplies, and especially for surgeries. Making them packages, so every package it has everything, and distributed for different kind of groups. That was like a really dangerous thing to do, because it means like you are supporting terrorism. But I was really lucky, I didn't get arrested at all. And I had a car, which is really helpful. I started keeping my pyjama, my toothbrush in my car, just in case I couldn't manage to go back home. Every time I do a delivery, I always said it will be my last one. It's becoming more dangerous. But every time, if someone asks me, I do another one. Then I've been stopped by a checkpoint. It was 2 at noon, and usually in this time, because there is a huge traffic, they don't stop anyone. It just like happened, they stopped me, but the other soldier was kind of drunk or something. So he said, "Oh, I don't want to check you. Why they stopped you? You look nice." So I left, but that was really my hardest. I'm lucky to say that, because that was my hardest minute. I'm lucky to say that because people, they got arrested and they wished for death every day in the prisons. So my biggest fears was to get arrested, because you die every day. When it's not like the same when you die by explosion or it's just like weird to say that. Which death is better? But the hardest story for us is being arrested, because you don't know for how long you stay there. You die every day. I think it's so hard to deal with this kind of trauma. When I meet my friends who were arrested, it's horrible. It's a nightmare. It stays forever. Sometimes when I draw about the war, I feel like I have a heart race. I feel like I have panic because I can't draw something specific. Then I have this conflict. I feel responsible. I have to have this feeling, at least by the drawing, to understand how they feel, and I will never understand. But also sometimes I feel I'm coward because I can't draw this, and they had to live this also as kids. It's like not easy to learn to draw destruction in artistic way. Before, I never thought of using art for journalism. It's really very, very hard, because there is some points that it's really important to talk about. It really affects human being brain, but also it's very violent to draw it. Kids, they had to watch executing, which is something ISIS, they do it on purpose in public areas, just to give people an idea how it is to stand against us. For me, this book is a big chance to tell the story, because I wherever I go, I always face this kind of questions. How was Syria before? How was everything? So I really want to say why we wanted to start this revolution. Since we were in school, we were prepared to not be satisfied and not saying a word. For me, it's really very important to tell people this story, what kind of childhood we had, what kind of ambitions that we had to think about in the future. Military was really a big part of education in Syria. We had military class in the school, and we had to wear military uniform every day, not just for the military class. Everything was really very strict. No colors, no even colored bond for hair. Even socks, they had to be black. So it was really very strict and a big deal. ISIS education, in my opinion, doesn't go really much farther from Ba'ath education. Both of them, they have horrible uniform. One is military, the other one is black. Both of them, they encourage violence in terms of like sacrificing for your duty, wherever the duty is. So there is a lot of similarity with different ideology. It's different kind of, for me, I see it as a different packaging, but it leads to the same horror, the same trauma that like Hafiz al-Assad had this method that we think he got it from Soviet Union and from North Korea. He made himself an idol, and he made sculptures of himself before even he dies. He was everywhere, and he became like a god. So it was like really scary to see him everywhere, in the street, in the classroom, like even in the fine art university. His photo was everywhere. We really can't think of anything else but this system. We can't really go out of this. We can't say any criticism. We have to accept it as it is, the situation. Kids, they have this ability to feel guilty very easily. They don't analyze much. They think anyone who is upset or angry or sad or depressed, it's because of them. So also the war trauma part of it is feeling guilty about the war. They think the war happened because of them. They think that their parents, they cry because of them. They think that they have to leave school because they are a big burden on their parents' shoulders, so they have to help them. It's really too much to handle, because even adults, when they feel useless, they might have like really strong depression. So how about kids? You hear kids talking about committing suicide, like they are 9 years old, 10 years old, and some of them, they really succeeded with this. They did it. So it's not really easy to deal with this kind of trauma. It's really very strong, and with this kind of depression, and once they become a teenager, their dreams become smaller and smaller. They lose hope. For them, they are in the future. They don't see anything more in the future. While you see, for example, adult Syrian displaced people, they are sometimes they are afraid to have fun. They feel guilty to go to have fun. Their memory is always here. Kids, they resist more, but what they get of psychology support is really very, very poor.